My name is Ted Groshong, and I have the privilege of saying that every one of the alumni in this room was my student, I think, since I've been here since 1975. I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us here at the University of Missouri's 56th Annual Medical Alumni Awards. I'm Senior Associate Dean for Alumni Affairs, and I'm Director of Pediatric Nephrology at the MU Medical School. I've always enjoyed participating in this event. It's really our school's premier celebration for recognizing the remarkable achievements of our distinguished alumni and our supporters. It's my honor to begin this celebration by introducing the two award presenters, Dr. Les Hall and Dr. Steve Smith. Dr. Hall is Interim Dean of the School of Medicine and is Professor of Internal Medicine. He previously served as the school's Senior Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs and Chief Medical Officer for University of Missouri Healthcare. Since joining the University of Missouri in 1999, Dr. Hall has been very active in not only in patient care and in administration, but in medical student and resident education. He's received numerous teaching awards, and that includes the Excellence in Teaching Award of the Society of Hospital Medicine. In recent years, Dr. Hall has been focusing on advancing interprofessional education, especially in areas of quality improvement, patient safety, and teamwork. He leads a national initiative that's founded by the Josiah Macy Jr. Foundation to teach interprofessional team-based care. He also chairs the Academy for Healthcare Improvements Education Committee and serves on the U.S. U.S. Health Resources and Services Administration National Steering Committee for Team-Based Teaching. As Interim Dean, Dr. Hall, okay, ready for this for some of you older alumni? He oversees the medical school's more than 650 faculty, 1,500 staff members, and over 1,000 medical students, residents, fellows, and other students completing advanced degrees. He's responsible for University Physicians, which is our practice plan for the medical school's faculty physicians, and works closely with the medical school's more than 7,700 medical school alumni, if you all can believe that. Dr. Hall received his medical degree from Washington University in St. Louis, completed training in internal medicine at the National Naval Medical Center in Bethesda. The MU Medical Alumni Association presented him in 2012 with Honorary Medical Alumni Award. So thanks for joining us, Dr. Hall. I'd also like to introduce Dr. Stephen Smith. He's the president of our medical school alumni organization, and he's going to come to the podium. Let me just mention that after he received his medical degree at MU in 1982, Steve remained at the university to complete his residency in anesthesia. Now in Baldwin, Missouri, he's remained in private practice with Western Anesthesiology Associates for more than 25 years. His clinical interests include difficult airway management, trauma anesthesiology, and office-based anesthesiology. He is also very active in medical education and quality improvement. A past commissioner of the Missouri Patient Safety Commission, Dr. Smith was appointed chair of the Data Collection and Reporting Subcommittee for the Patient Safety Commission by former Governor Bob Holden. He's also a member of the Community Emergency Response Team. In addition, he is past president of Missouri Society of Anesthesiologists. He also served previously as chair of the Government Legal and Economic Affairs Committee from 2003 to 2009. He served as a federal legislative delegate for the American Society of Anesthesiologists and is a member of the Society for Ambulatory Anesthesiology, where that seems like a misnomer to me, Steve, ambulatory anesthesiology. I have difficulty with that one. Yeah, right. I mean, the sleepwalking, I see, where he serves in the Office-Based Anesthesiology Committee. More recently, Steve was appointed to the Board of Directors of Missouri Center for Patient Safety. And I want to tell you how much I and all of us who work in the alumni office have appreciated the last 2 years. Dr. Smith has worked so hard as the president of our Medical Alumni Association, been very enthusiastic, very helpful, always available, very fine president, and thank you so much, Steve, for doing that.
Well, thank you very much. This is the 56th Annual Medical Alumni Awards dinner. And the interesting thing is, 56 years ago, it was 1956, was when the University Medical Center was first built, and that was through the efforts of Dr. Stevenson. And I stand here before you tonight at 56 years of age. So 56 is a big deal here. This is what 56 years looks like. All right, and as we give out the awards, I'd like them all, each award winner, to come over here and pose for a picture with Dr. Hall. And please, family members, feel free to come over here, take as many pictures as you want to capture the moment. This night is especially joyous as we gather to recognize those medical alumni who've distinguished themselves in the academics and in clinical endeavors. But we also want to recognize those non-medical alumni who've distinguished themselves in our heart. So I'd like to start off tonight with the Honorary Medical Alumni Awards for those not truly alumni, but who are adopted alumni. These awards recognize individuals who do not receive a medical degree from MU, but made exceptional contributions to our School of Medicine. And the first award winner is Dr. Mark McIntosh, the chair of the Department of Molecular Biology and Immunology at the University of Missouri. Under his leadership, the department has become one of the most productive research units at Mizzou. He received his doctorate degree in microbiology from the University of Texas, serves as a postdoc fellow in biochemistry at the University of California in Berkeley. Before joining MU's faculty in '81, he served as chair for more than 10 years, recruiting and developing nationally renowned investigators and leading an unprecedented growth in molecular microbiology and immunologic research. Dr. McIntosh has held many leadership roles on campus. For more than 25 years, he's the director of the DNA core faculty, where he has been responsible for the acquisition of 2 major grants from the National Science Foundation and the National Institutes of Health to expand technical facilities and campus-wide computer network for molecular biology application. As director of MU's research core facilities, he oversees operations and plannings for 9 technology core facilities across campus. During the planning process for MU's Bond Life Sciences Center, he served as a member of its development committee, helping to create a master plan for the 300,000 square foot facility. Dr. McIntosh is a member of MU's Administrators Research Council and has served the medical school as a member of the Leadership Executive Committee, as well as the Oversight Committee for the Liaison Committee on Medical Education. He maintains research interest in the field of bacterial pathogenesis, and his studies are supported by funding from the USDA, NIH, and the Missouri Life Sciences Research Board. Dr. McIntosh is a member of the NIH Microbiology and Infectious Diseases Studies section and has been a member of the National Science Foundation Grant Review Panel for Molecular and Cellular Biology. In '91, he received the MU Chancellor's Award for Research and Creative Activities in the Biological Sciences. Dr. McIntosh, would you please come forward and accept your Honorary Medical Alumni Award?
Thank you. This is indeed an honor. I appreciate the recognition. I just want to know, can I tell Grandma now that I'm a real doctor? Anyway, thank you very much. This is really a very humbling experience for me, and I appreciate the recognition from the Alumni Association. Thank you.
Our second Honorary Medical Alumni Award recipient is Kirt Nichols, Professor of Vascular Surgery at University of Missouri School of Medicine and Vice Chair of the Hugh E. Stevenson Department of Surgery. Dr. Nichols received a medical degree from the University of Michigan and came to the University of Missouri as a surgery resident in '66. After becoming a faculty member at MU in '73, Dr. Nichols assumed many leadership roles, including Chief of Surgery, Chief of the Peripheral Vascular Clinic, and Medical Director of the Non-Invasive Laboratory at Truman Veterans Hospital. Also served as Medical Director of the University Hospital's Operating Rooms and Non-Invasive Vascular Laboratory. In '94, Dr. Nichols was elected Chief of Staff at the University Hospital, a position he held for more than 12 years. At the MU School of Medicine, he served as the interim chair of surgery from 2003 to 4 and as vice chair since 2004. Dr. Nichols also served as chief of vascular surgery from 98 to 2011 and was associate dean for clinical and professional affairs from 2000 to 2005. Dr. Nichols was one of the first MU health system leaders to call for an emphasis on quality improvement at a time when the science of quality improvement was a new concept in healthcare. He was an early advocate for standardization of care to promote quality, and he recognized the role that electronic medical records could play in improving care. Due in large part to his influence, MU's Office of Clinical Effectiveness was established in 1996. Over the past 3 decades, he has served on more than 30 hospital committees, had chaired the Clinical Outcomes Review Committee, Utilization Review Committee, Credentials Committee, and Executive Committee on the medical staff. He has also served on numerous medical school committees, including the Curriculum Design Committee, Dean's Planning Group, University Physicians Executive Committee, Physicians Recruitment Committee, and the Admissions Committee. Dr. Nichols is nationally known for his surgical skills and is regularly listed as one of America's best doctors. Much of his scholarly work focuses on the design and use of peritoneal dialysis catheters or vascular access catheters for hemodialysis, and he is the co-holder of 9 patents for peritoneal or vascular dialysis catheters. Personal note, Dr. Nichols was my professor of surgery when I was a third-year medical student and a very good friend. He is one of the most beloved faculty members by our students. And there are numerous stories of his tenure at Mizzou, and most of those will remain silent until we can meet later for a glass of scotch. Dr. Nichols, would you please come forward and receive your Honorary Medical Alumni Award?
Thank you, Steve, for keeping those stories under your hat or behind your back. I wouldn't admit to any of those stories. This is indeed a real honor. Having been here for now 40 years, it's gone by very quickly. I have enjoyed the association and the working with many of you as co-faculty, as students, as residents, and it has been really, really a huge, huge fun time for me. I'd especially like to thank my 2 colleagues who are here with me tonight, Dr. Jerry Rogers, the Chair of Surgery, and Dr. Todd Vogel, my Chief of Surgery, or Chief of Vascular Surgery, both of whom have endorsed this and have supported this, and I thank all of you. And I especially thank my children who are here tonight and my son who is not here tonight but who is here in spirit. And I thank all of you for this honor. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Our next category is the Distinguished Service Award, which recognizes the School of Medicine alumni who have distinguished themselves through service to others and their profession. Our first Distinguished Service Award recipient is Dr. David Barbe, a graduate of the class of 1980. Dr. Barbe is a family physician in his hometown of Mountain Grove, Missouri. And it is especially nice to be able to practice in your hometown where you grew up. He's the Regional Division President of Mercy Clinic for Southwest Missouri and Northwest Arkansas, as well as the Chair-elect of the American Medical Association Board of Trustees. After graduating from MU's medical school, Dr. Barbe completed residency in family medicine at the University of Kansas affiliated program at St. Joseph Hospital in Wichita, and we won't hold that against him. Following residency, he returned to his hometown in southern Missouri and established a family medicine practice, which expanded to 2 sites with several physicians. In 1999, Dr. Barbe merged his practice with the Mercy Clinic in Springfield, and he is now the Regional Division President of the integrated group, which consists of 650 physicians in 100 locations in southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. Dr. Barbe also serves on the Executive Council for Mercy Health System, which has been ranked first among the nation's top integrated health networks. Dr. Barbe has been a member of the AMA, Missouri State Medical Association, and American Academy of Family Physicians for more than 25 years. He was elected to the AMA Board of Trustees in 2009 and has served as a member of the MSMA Board continuously for more than 20 years, serving as chair in 2003 and president in 2005. He was a delegate from Missouri to the AMA from 97 to 2009 and is a past chair of the delegation. Dr. Barbe served 2 terms in the AMA Council on Medical Services and served as its chair. During his tenure on the council, he participated in the development of much of the AMA policy on coverage of the uninsured, healthcare system reform, Medicare reform, and health insurance market reform. Dr. Barbe has been honored for his service in family medicine by receiving the Missouri Family Physician of the Year Award. He was also instrumental in expanding MU's Rural Track Pipeline program to southwest Missouri, and he serves as an important advocate for MU's plan to increase medical student class size by creating a clinical campus in Springfield. And if any of you physicians are involved politically, you need to know Dr. Barbe, because he is the man. Dr. Barbe, please come forward and accept your Distinguished Services Award.
It's a lot of fun. These are like old home week. You know, you see people you're in classmates with and who are your mentors and who are your colleagues and your consultants that have really made a mark on the healthcare in this state, and I'm just honored to be part of that. It is especially humbling, as was said earlier, when you are recognized by a group and by individuals that you respect so much and have done so much for this state. So I really appreciate it. You know that the group has a sense of humor. When Alex seated the family right here, dead center, put all the grandkids right in front, you come in and say, yeah, you're at table 2. Okay, fine, that'll be in the back somewhere. Right up here in front. So anyway, appreciate it very much, and this is a great evening. Thanks so much.
Our second Distinguished Service Award recipient is Dr. Linda Burns. A graduate of the class of '81, Dr. Burns is a professor of medicine at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. She leads its inpatient adult bone marrow transplant unit, directs the university's hematology, oncology, and transplantation fellowship program, and oversees the Masonic Cancer Center's interdisciplinary programs in hematologic malignancies and bone marrow transplantation. Dr. Burns graduated from MU's medical school cum laude before serving as the chief internal medicine resident at the University of Iowa. She remained there to complete research and clinical fellowship training in hematology and oncology. Dr. Burns joined the faculty at the University of Minnesota in 1992. She subsequently led the university's bone marrow transplant clinical trials and autologous transplantation for breast cancer, including serving as site principal investigator for national studies. She then assumed leadership of the lymphoma program, leading numerous clinical studies at both the university and national level. In addition, she directs her university's multidisciplinary radioimmunotherapy program, where she focuses on developing novel treatments for advanced leukemia and lymphoma. Dr. Burns' interest in the late effects of bone marrow transplant led her to establish and direct the Late Effects Clinic. I really did intend to Google that and find out what the heck a Late Effects Clinic was. Perhaps she can enlighten us. In the adult program, and led several national trials in late effects. In 2006 and 2011, she served on an international expert panel to develop guidelines for evaluating and managing late effects of transplantation in developed and developing countries. Nationally, Dr. Burns has served as chair of the American Society of Hematology Committee on Training Programs, a group that has worked towards curriculum development and offered training requirements for the Accreditation Council for Graduate Medical Education. She is president-elect of the American Society of Hematology and is on the board of directors of the American Society of Blood and Marrow Transplantation, where she chairs the Committee on Education. For the past 3 years, she has led a physician workforce initiative for the National Marrow Donor Program to recruit and train bone marrow transplant physicians. She has also served on several study panels for the NIH. Dr. Burns has written more than 100 peer-reviewed articles, 4 book chapters, and is executive editor of the Journal of Hematology. She has received several honors, including her Medical Center's Commendation for Clinical Care and Innovation and her division's Academic Mentor Award. She also won the 2012 Association of Specialty Professors Eric G. Nelson, MD, Distinguished Professor Award. Dr. Burns, please come forward and accept your Distinguished Service Award. You have indeed distinguished yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm indeed honored to be here and accept this award tonight. I was landing in Kansas City Airport, and you just feel like you're coming home when you land in Missouri. I grew up on a big farm, north central Missouri, went to undergraduate at Mizzou, went to medical school there, recognized many of my former faculty here. I think that what I've grown to appreciate is the wonderful education that I received at a public institution. I think the University of Missouri Medical School launched my career. I met my husband there, an MD, PhD graduate at Mizzou, nephrologist. I just can't say enough about the education, the wonderful colleagues, the mentors that I had at Mizzou. In terms of late effects clinic, I'm a bone marrow transplant specialist. And I often give a talk about surviving the cure, that we can cure many patients, but as we cure more, we understand that 10 years, 20 years later, they may have complications. And I'm dedicated to helping them survive and lead a long and healthy life. So thank you very much. I really appreciate the honor.
Our third Distinguished Service Award recipient is Karina Uldall, a graduate of the class of '87. Dr. Uldall is an associate professor of psychiatry and former director of the Psychosomatic Medicine Fellowship Program at the University of Washington School of Medicine, where she has served as an accomplished HIV/AIDS researcher. Currently, Dr. Uldall is section head of hospital psychiatry at Virginia Mason Medical Center in Seattle. In that position, she focuses on improving healthcare quality and safety, including leading an innovative effort to prevent hospital-associated delirium. She is completing a National Patient Safety Foundation and American Hospital Association Comprehensive Patient Safety Leadership Fellowship, focusing on safety issues related to delirium, including behavioral codes, restraint use, falls, rapid readmissions, and staff assaults. Dr. Uldall received her bachelor's degree in molecular biochemistry and biophysics from Yale University. While at the University of Missouri School of Medicine, she received an Outstanding Psychiatry Student Award. Upon receiving her medical degree, Dr. Uldall moved west, where she completed her residency at the University of Washington. After serving as chief resident of University of Washington's Department of Psychiatry, she completed a Psychiatry in Primary Care Fellowship and received a master's degree in epidemiology at UW's School of Public Health. Dr. Uldall's research and clinical expertise has largely focused on the issue of HIV/AIDS prevention and treatment. She has been at the forefront of the issue both regionally and nationally. She has served as an HIV client services consultant with the Washington State Department of Health and has served in numerous roles on the King County HIV/AIDS Planning Council. On the national level, Dr. Uldall served on the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services National Advisory Council for HIV/AIDS. Over the past 15 years, Dr. Uldall has been involved in many research projects that address HIV/AIDS treatment, prevention, and outreach. She has served as an investigator for studies that have been rewarded more than $9 million in funding from such agencies as the Health Resources and Services Administration and the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. In the realm of HIV/AIDS, Dr. Uldall has focused on such issues as outreach to American Indians and other minority populations, management of delirium in HIV/AIDS patients, and improving care delivery. In addition to her research projects, Dr. Uldall has published more than 25 journal articles and book chapters, and she has presented internationally on HIV/AIDS and improving public health. She has received the Community Psychiatry Award and Psychiatry Residency Training Program Academic Teaching Award from the University of Washington. Dr. Uldall, would you please come forward and accept your Distinguished Service Award?
Thank you very much. It is a lot like coming home. I'm really humbled by the trust that people living with HIV and AIDS have placed in me over the last 25 years, both the patients and their families. And anyone who's worked with patients with complex medical or surgical morbidities know that it really takes a team of professionals to adequately care for folks living with complex conditions. And so I'd like to accept this really on behalf of the amazing professionals that I've had the privilege to work with over the last 25 years. Thanks very much.
Now we'd like to shift our focus to the Outstanding Young Physician Award. This award is presented to alumni 45 years old and younger who have distinguished themselves in medicine. This year we recognize 2 physicians who are quickly becoming stars in their fields. Our first Outstanding Young Physician Award recipient is J. Andrews Dykens. A graduate of the class of '04, Dr. Dykens is an assistant professor of family medicine at the University of Illinois in Chicago and founder and director of the Global Community Health Program through the UIC Department of Family and Community Medicine. After graduating from MU's medical school, Dr. Dykens was chief family medicine resident at UIC. He remained there to complete a master's degree in public health and became an assistant professor of family medicine in 2010. Dr. Dykens' interest in community medicine, chronic diseases, and health disparities was fostered early on when he served as a Peace Corps volunteer from 1997 to 1999 in West Africa. He concentrated primarily on high-risk HIV education, working with local youth groups to incorporate health themes into their traditional songs and skits. Dr. Dykens returned to West Africa to shadow the regional World Health Organization director and study the health system of Senegal. He's active in the Global Health Education Consortium and co-authored its learning module titled Planning Your Global Health Elective, which is intended to guide medical students and residents through the process of planning an international experience. Peace Care, a nonprofit organization dedicated to enacting sustainable grassroots change in the developing world, was an organization formed through Dr. Dykens' work as a student in public health. In addition to serving as founder and executive director of Peace Care, he also maintains a clinical practice as a physician of family medicine at the University Village Health Center and is the director of postgraduate global health education with the UIC Center for Global Health. Dr. Dykens remains active in academic medicine, serving as a member of the Curriculum Committee, Residency Expansion Grant Committee for Health Disparities Scholars Program, and as a faculty advisor for the Family Medicine Interest Group. He also recently completed a fellowship with the Grant Generating Project at Virginia Commonwealth University Department of Family and Community Medicine. Dr. Dykens has received several honors for his commitment to public health and family medicine. He is a past recipient of the National Peace Corps Association's Global Community Project Competition Award and the Arnold P. Gold Foundation Humanism and Excellence in Teaching Award. In addition, he serves as a committee member of the Family Medicine Midwest Global Health Collaborative, the Society of Teachers of Family Medicine Group on Global Health, and is a past chair of the Executive Committee for Global Directors Network, Global Health Educator Consortium. Dr. Dykens, please come forward and accept your Outstanding Young Physician Award.
Well, wow, I'm thrilled. Thank you so much. All I can say is that I feel extraordinarily honored, and it's such a thrill to stand here along with many of my educators at the College of Medicine at the University of Missouri, where I'm proud to have graduated. I'm also honored to be here this evening with my parents. My parents taught me a lot. 2 things that they taught me were to be home by 9, and the second was to do your best. And likewise, I've always just tried to live up to the example that has been taught to me through the educators at the University of Missouri, many of which are here. And so one last thank you to my wonderful and beautiful wife who supports me in everything. So thank you all so very much. I'm extraordinarily honored. Thank you.
Our second Outstanding Young Physician Award is Aarti Sarwal, a 2009 graduate of MU's Neurology Residency Program. Dr. Sarwal is an associate professor of neurology and critical care at Wake Forest School of Medicine. She also served as a faculty member with the school's Office of Women in Medicine and Science. Dr. Sarwal completed medical school and training in medical informatics in India. After serving as chief resident for neurology at MU's medical school, Dr. Sarwal completed a fellowship in neurocritical care at the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Sarwal's clinical interests include intubation and extubation criteria in neurologically impaired patients and cerebrovascular ischemia and reperfusion. Her research interests include the neuromuscular ultrasound in assessing respiratory muscles, ventilatory-induced respiratory muscle dysfunction, weaning failure in critically ill patients, and airway management in the neurocritical care unit. In a short span, Dr. Sarwal has written 5 book chapters and 13 peer-reviewed journal articles. She also serves on the editorial board of the Journal of Central Nervous System Disease and as a review editor of Frontiers in Hospitalist Neurology. During her time at MU, Dr. Sarwal has become involved in several committees and organizations to improve institutional practices and curriculum. She was coordinator of the American Academy of Neurology's Student Interest Group for Columbia, Missouri chapter, worked on the Residency Curriculum Committee, and served on the Department of Neurology's annual Quality Improvement Committee. She remains active with the American Academy of Neurology, American Society of Neuroimaging, and several other professional organizations. In recognition of her engagement with quality improvement and education at MU, Dr. Sarwal received several travel awards and scholarships for national neurology and neuroimaging conferences. She received the Daniel M. Kinnison Award in 2009 for serving as the Outstanding Neurology Resident and has won the Neurocritical Care Society Simulation Resuscitation Competition in 2010. Daniel Kinnison was my resident in neurology. He was a fabulous man. Dr. Sarwal, please come forward and accept your Outstanding Young Physician Award.
Thank you, everybody. The best I can say is I'm extremely humbled to be receiving this honor. I still feel like I was born yesterday with so many distinguished other people around. And more than anything else that I've done, I think this award represents the work that my 2 adopted American fathers, Dr. Terry Rowland, my program director, and Dr. Sahota, who unfortunately wasn't here, what they've put in me and how they've taken me under their care. And all I can say is I'll always be a Mizo tiger. And I hope I can come back to the Alumni Association and do something for Mizo, that how they took care of me. Thank you.
Our final award is the Citation of Merit, which is the highest honor presented by the MU School of Medicine to alumni who performed outstanding work in their fields. Drum roll, please. This year's Citation of Merit recipient is Dr. Michael LeFevre. A 79 graduate of the University of Missouri School of Medicine, Dr. LeFevre is the future family medicine professor and vice chair of family and community medicine at the University of Missouri. He was recently elected to the Institute of Medicine and of the National Academies. Election to the IOM is considered one of the highest honors in the fields of health and medicine. It recognizes individuals who have demonstrated outstanding professional achievement and commitment to service. He is the only newly elected IOM member from Missouri in 2011. Dr. LeFevre is co-vice chair and one of 16 members of the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. The independent panel of experts in prevention and evidence-based medicine reviews a broad range of clinical preventative health care services, such as screening, counseling, and preventative medications, and develops recommendations for primary care physicians, clinicians, and health systems. Dr. LeFevre has also served on one of 15 expert panel members for the Joint National Committee on Prevention, Detection, Evaluation, and Treatment of High Blood Pressure, the IOM Committee on Gulf War and Health Solvents panel, and the American Academy of Family Physicians Commission on Clinical Policies and Research. As Director of the Clinical Services for MU's Curtis W. and Ann H. Long Department of Family and Community Medicine, Dr. LeFevre oversees 8 practices with 100,000 annual outpatient visits. He has also served as Chief Medical Information Officer for the University of Missouri Healthcare and has helped lead the Electronic Health Record Project for MU. He plays a key role in MU's collaborations with Cerner Corporation to enhance the use of health information technology, especially to improve care for patients with chronic illnesses. As an educator, Dr. LeFevre teaches the students the full breadth of family medicine, including outpatient and inpatient care, as well as obstetrics. He was co-chair of the committee that completely revised the first and second year medical school curriculum at MU through the implementation of problem-based learning and early exposure to health care. A native of Burlington, Iowa, Dr. LeFevre received a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering at MU in '75. After medical school, he remained at the university to complete family and community medicine residency and a Robert Wood Johnson Academic Family Medicine Fellowship. The fellowship resulted in Dr. LeFevre receiving his master's degree in public health from MU. Before joining MU's faculty in 1984, Dr. LeFevre has helped the university build one of the most highly respected family medicine departments in the country. He is ranked among the top 10 such programs in the nation for nearly 20 years. I thought we were like number 1 or 2. Dr. LeFevre, your contributions in the areas of primary care, evidence-based medicine, and health information technology serve as an example of excellence for our students, faculty members, and alumni. Please come forward and accept our school's highest honor, the Citation of Merit.
I just thought I'd do that to see if anybody was watching. You know, Alex, where are you? You didn't really give me any specific instructions. The instruction that I expected is that it's the last presentation, then I just say thank you and get off the stage because people are anxious to go home. But instead I thought I would just put my watch up here, see how things were going. I feel like I'm pretty humbled to be on the lineup of who's who and who's he, the who's he coming towards the end of things. A particular nod to my fellow faculty members, Mark and Kirt, who I actually couldn't imagine were not alumni of the University of Missouri, because I didn't know you could actually accomplish that much without being an alumni of the University of Missouri. So finally we've sort of backed the truck up and started you where you belonged in the first place. You're not supposed to start tonight. By the way, I thought I heard Steve, he gave me a lot of time because he kind of moves things through pretty fast here. To say that Kirt came to Columbia in '66. That was 1966, right, Kirt? I just wanted to clarify that. But Kirt is one of my favorite and most esteemed colleagues, and you're not supposed to start by telling a mother-in-law story, but really the mother-in-law story is about Kirt, which is my mother-in-law lives in the Chicago area, and I've already cornered Andrew to try to help me find her a new family physician because hers is going to be leaving. And in spite of my strong admonition against going to the church parking lot where somebody has an errant ultrasound machine, she did that anyway, and nearly lost her gallbladder to asymptomatic sludge. And I was losing confidence in the Chicago health system when she said, oh, by the way, I also have something wrong with my carotid. And I said, there's just no way I can entrust her to the Chicago healthcare system. And she had to see somebody that I trusted. And so I brought her to Columbia to see Kirt Nichols because he was the only person that I really trusted to take care of her. And she still drives down. She's about 80, how many? 2 something. 81 years old, and she still drives to Columbia a couple times a year to have her checkup about her carotid. With Kirt, thank you for taking care of her, and that's spectacular. I am odd. Thought I would pause there to give my colleagues a chance to support that. I am odd in that I've spent my entire career at the University of Missouri, and that's moderately unusual. It wasn't a plan. I didn't come to Columbia in 1971 and say, I think I'll stay for 50 years. And I came to be an electrical engineer. Actually, my undergraduate degree is in electrical engineering, and I'm still actually quite grateful for that because I believe that the engineers taught me critical thinking skills. Decided I didn't really want to be an engineer and went to medical school. Wasn't the plan to stay at the University of Missouri for medical school. I was going to leave, but I had opportunities to leave, but I looked around and I said, why would I go anyplace else but the University of Missouri, right? So I stayed, and then I was quite certain that I was going to leave for residency. Didn't know exactly what my residency was going to be on, but my wife worked as a ward clerk in the newborn intensive care unit when I was in M1 with the infamous now Dr. Barbe, and just thought I'd point out all these connections that we have up here. And she came back and she said, you know, you need to be a family physician because they're the nicest people. And I have never, ever done anything other than what my wife has suggested. And so I better be a family physician, and why go anyplace but the University of Missouri? And then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life after that, and you know, was really seriously considering going into practice in rural Missouri, and took an infamous trip down to see Russ and Darrell White down in Aurora at the time, and flew back in a plane that was 6 feet wide and 10 feet long in the worst thunderstorm that you could ever imagine. I actually slept through it, but that was sort of the end of going to rural Missouri from Judy's perspective. So I said, well, I should be a fellow, and so I did my 2-year research fellowship. But why go anyplace else or do it with anybody else? I mean, my research fellows were Dr. Steve Zweig, who's the chair of family medicine at the University of Missouri, and Dr. Bernard Wigman, who's the chair of family medicine at the University of Chicago, and Dr. Jerry Cruz, who's now the former chair of family medicine at Southern Illinois University and now the executive dean at SIU. And so I'm actually the only fellow who didn't become a chair, which you could say either makes me the black sheep of the family or the only smart one of the group. And right now I think Steve would say I was probably the smart one of the group. You know, I certainly couldn't stay after that. I had to go someplace else, but looked all over the country for faculty positions, and why would I go anyplace else but the University of Missouri, right? Where would I find a more esteemed group of colleagues and friends, many of whom are sitting at the table over here, and I owe a great deal to them, to the other members of the faculty at the University of Missouri, and to the extent that I have done anything, I owe that to MU. When I am cut, I bleed black and gold. I've been there for that long, and I owe a great deal to this institution. The last thing I'd like to say about the institution is that the most important gift to me from MU actually started about 40 years ago in marching Mizzou. And yes, I was in marching Mizzou, and it was, some of you who have been around for a long time may remember the name Alex Pickard, who was the director of bands at the time, and he had this very cool lineup where you would spiral out of the end zone onto the field, and when you would line up in your spiral, the flutes and the trumpets were right next to each other, and I saw this really cute chick, and I said, wow, this is, you know, I got to see how this might work out. And I didn't have a particularly strong ego when it came to women at the time, and so I never imagined that what seemed to me to be an attraction would be returned, and that was actually correct, certainly for some period of time, but my parents did teach me persistence, and about 3 years later we were married, and some year, about 1975, and so that was a long time ago, and she is the person who stays with me and prays for me and has been the reason for my success. Thank you.
All right, I guess we're coming to a close here. Congratulations again to all of our award recipients, and thank you for the fellow alumni and supporters who have joined us this evening. Before we close, I need to make a few brief announcements. First of all, I want to make sure that all the award recipients will gather over here in the corner for a group photo before you leave. And for those of you attending the Alumni Board of Governors meeting tomorrow, breakfast is at 0600 at the Westin Crown Center Plaza Hotel in the Pershing East and West rooms, followed by a meeting at 0630. Also, this is a great time. Was there a movie like that? Is it? Oh, Dark 100? Anyway. Also, our popular alumni reception will be held tomorrow night from 5:30 to 7, also at the Westin, in the Pershing West room. So please join us there tomorrow evening. I also wanted to note the Alumni Office has nomination material available this evening for anyone interested in helping us recognize more outstanding alumni and supporters in our award ceremony in 2014 in St. Louis. And finally, I hope to see all of you return to MU for the homecoming the weekend of October 26th and 27th for our alumni weekend. Thank you again for joining us for our 56th annual meeting, medical awards ceremony. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh, and one other thing, I would like to recognize on a personal note, my own wife, my wife Ursula, who is receiving the Humanitarian Award from the Mizzou Sinclair School of Nursing at an awards dinner tomorrow evening. Ursula, will you please stand? All right, well, thank you all for attending this evening, and enjoy the rest of your evening.